Welcome back everyone. My name is Sagar and in this video I will be telling you whether Java is passed by value or passed by reference. So quickly subscribe to our channel and watch this video till the very end to understand the logic completely. So first of all, what is passed by value and passed by reference? So first of all, suppose we have this object A. So this is a primitive data type, and first of all, what is passed by value? So suppose I have a function here. So function, and this should be a static function now. Static function. And I already told you about the static keyword, and if you don't know, go watch out that video first. And let me also tell you one thing, that if you want to use anything inside of a static function, then that should be also a static thing, whether it is a function or if we are creating here a member, so int x. So if you want to use this x inside of this main method, so then this x should be also static thing, static, like this. Okay, so first of all, what is a pass by value? So if we are passing this a here inside of this function and we are getting it here x, or we can write here passed a, and after that what we are doing is passed a plus plus. So what is happening here? We have this a as 0, so we are initializing this a as 0, and after we are passing it to our function. So here we are passing it inside of a function, and in Java, remember that thing, it can be also your interview question, that Java is always passed by value. So when we are passing this a inside of this function, then we are passing this 0 value, and what we are doing here is 0 plus plus, so this will be here 1. So let me just try to print here inside function, it will just print me 1. Let me just say this thing. So a plus plus, so past value is 0, and 0 plus plus means it will be 1, and we will just print 1 here. And after that, what will happen to this a? So this a will be same thing. So as we are passing here the 0 value, so a copy of this a will be passed here. So passed a will be the copy of this value. So this will be now here. So in main, it will be just 0. So let me just show you. So the value of this original a will be 0, and when we are passing it here, so it will be just passed as 0, and we are going to print 1. So there will be two instances of this value now. As you can see here, first of all, inside function we have our 1, and that is because we are passing a copy of this original value. So this is always passed by value. And in our main function we have 0, that is the original value. So let me just show you what is happening here. So first of all, we are creating a, and that will be stored to some location, suppose 1 2 3 4. So this will be a, and we are initializing this value with 0. So suppose this is something like this. Okay, and after that what we are doing is we are creating a function and we are passing this a, and we are creating a new variable that is passed a. So we are just copying this thing. So we are creating a new function here, new variable, and that will have passed a. So passed a, something like this, and it will also have this value because we are passing this a. So Java is always passed by value, so we are going to pass this value. So this value will be passed here, and we will get 0 here. So suppose this is location 5 6 7 8 inside of a memory. So this is our function, and this is our main method. Okay, and now you can see this is passed a and this is a, and now they both have this 0 value. So what is going on? So we are doing here is passed a plus plus. So passed a, and we are going to add one value here. So from 0 we are just incrementing it to 1, so 0 plus plus. Okay, and after that we are printing this 1, but you can see this 0 value is not changed. And after that, when we are returning out of this function, so we are back here inside of our main method, and now you can see the 0 value is still here. So we are printing 0, and this is a very simple thing, and you can see there is nothing complex here. We are just passing the copy of this 0 to our new function. And if we are creating another function, so suppose static void, suppose function 2, and if we are passing here some value, so if we are calling this function here function 2, and we are passing this passed a here, and suppose I am creating here x minus minus, so this will be the exact same thing. So we are going to create here another variable that will be x, and we are going to pass here. So this was here 0, initially it was 0, so we are going to pass this 0 here, and it will be a copy of it. Okay, so we are always going to pass here copy. And I hope now you understand this thing for our primitive data types. But what happens for our objects? So let me just create here an object. So suppose I am creating an object static class, suppose my object, and this will have some members. Suppose it will have some number, and also some string. And suppose now I am creating this object obj new object, and after that I am passing this to my function. So function obj, and before passing I am just doing obj dot number equal to 1, and the string value of this object will be suppose Sagar, and after passing I am suppose changing it. So suppose I am creating here this static void function again, my object. So let me write here passed object, so that you can differentiate. It is the pass parameter, and it is here the different object that we are passing. So here this is our parameter, and inside it we are doing passed object dot, suppose we are changing this string value. So string value will be equal to new value, suppose like this. And if we are printing it, obviously we are going to print this new value. But if we are printing in our main method, so what will happen? So we are going to print obj dot this str. So what is going to print? Let me know in the comment section if you got it correct. First of all, we are creating a new object and we are setting here the string value. Or let's say we are going to change the both of the things. So number also, and also string and number. So number will be equal to suppose 10, and after that I'm going to print both. And like this. So this will be a whole string, first of all number and then a string value. So here we are initializing with 1 and the string value is Sagar, and after that we are passing this object to a function, and this function will just change both of the things. So number will be 10 and value will be new value. So what will be the output? And let me just see, the output will be changed. And the reason is same, Java is always pass by value. So you will get confused at this point. You can see the value is changed, 10 and new value. We just saw when we are passing our integer value, so this is our 0 value and a copy will be created for that integer. Okay, and when we are changing in our copied value, so if we are changing in this value, so suppose I am doing here is, so I am passing here 10, so from 0 I change it to 10 and the original value will not get changed. But in our case, when we are creating object, you can see the original value is getting changed. So obj.number will be 10 and obj.string will be also changed, and you can just see in the output 10 and new value. But you can see I am not changing it in our main function, I am changing it inside of a function value, extra function that we just created. So what is happening here? So let me just tell you, there is a difference between when we are passing our integer data types and when we are passing our objects. So let me just show you the difference. So this is our main method and we are creating here an object. So obj, suppose it is in location 1 2 3 4, and that means we are creating a new object. So what is going to be here? Previously when we were creating our primitive data type, so we were passing here the original value. Suppose I am creating here integer a, so a is 0, so then 0 will be passed here, and if I am initializing with 10, so 10 will be here. But when I am creating here object and not a primitive data type, so then what will happen? So if I am doing this thing new object, so first of all an object will be created inside of a memory. So this thing is also in memory, but a new object will be created. And suppose this is the object that will be created and it have now two things. So my object have two things, number and string, and the default value of number is 0 and string will be null. So there is this number and there is this string, and suppose it is in location 9898. So suppose this is the location of my actual object and this is just the name of my identifier obj. So it is obviously stored somewhere else in my memory. So what is going to be present here with this obj? So let me just tell you, the address of this actual object is going to be passed here 9898 like this. So I hope now you understand this thing. When we were creating our primitive data type, so if we are creating here a and the value is 0, so it will be something like this. But when we are creating our objects, so object will be created somewhere else in our memory and the address of that object will be attached to my identifier, or we can say our variable name. So this is my object and this is the address of my actual object. Okay, so this is my object name, or we can say identifier, and this is my actual object address in my memory. Okay, so let me just show you. So this is my object and it have currently no values. Okay, but you can see now this value is provided at the point of this when we are creating our new object. So this 9898 will be provided to this obj. Okay, and and after that when we are doing this obj dot number equal to 1, so obj will get this thing 9898 and we are gonna reach here. So there is the 9898 location and we are gonna update our number, so number will be equal to 1. So we are gonna pass here suppose 1, and after that we are also updating the string, so string value will be updated to Sagar. Okay, and after that when we are passing to our function, so remember that thing Java is always pass by value. So what we are gonna pass, we are gonna pass this value as we were passing previously. So in the case of primitive data types a and 0, so we were passing this 0 value and we were creating our new variable a. Suppose this was our new variable x and 0, so this is our pass variable and the value will be, this value will be passed. So same for our objects, when we are passing something, so when we are passing this object to my function, so we are going to pass this value 9898, so we are going to pass this here, and this will be a passed obj, passed obj, and suppose this is location 5678, and after that we are going to pass this value 9898, so 9898, and that means this will also point to this same object. And I hope now you understand this thing, that we are just passing this value here and they both are pointing to the same object. So this is also pointing to this, and this passed object is also pointing to this 9898. So that in Java is always passed by value, and I think now your confusion is clear why it behave differently when we are passing our objects, or when we are passing our arrays, or when we are passing our string values. So I will also show you how we are passing our string values and arrays. So for this case, when we are passing our obj, so this will have this location here, and after that we are updating the number and also string. So at the location 9898 we are updating the number, so number will be now 10, and after that the string value will be equal to new value, so this will be here new value. Okay, and when we are going back, so this is our function, and after this function ends, when we are going back to our main function and we are checking in this location, now you can see at this location there are new values, so we are going to print here new values. Okay, and I hope now you understand this thing, that this is our actual object and this is the value, and we are always passing the value whether we have our integers, so a is 0 and we will definitely pass a, or suppose this is b, we are going to pass this 0 value. Okay, and this thing is looking messy, but don't confuse, we are always passing the values. I hope now you understand this thing, how we are always passing this 9898. And let me just show you one more example. If we are doing this thing here, passed obj equal to new my object, so what is going to happen here? So when we are doing this thing, pass obj is equal to new object, so this means that we are going to create a new object inside of a memory. So suppose there is this large memory, we are going to create a new my obj, and suppose this is a new location, and there are some default values 0 and null, so we are going to get a new location. That means instead of this 9898 we are going to get 7777, that is the location of this actual object. Okay, and if after this if we are changing anything, then the things will not get changed. So let me just print, and this time we are going to print 1 and Sagar, and that is also obvious. So you can see 1 and Sagar, and that is because we are not changing anything. This is a actual new object, and if we are not changing anything, if this is our actual past object, so the location will be here the same. So the location will be here 9898, and we are going to change everything of this object. Okay, so I hope now you understand this thing. And suppose when we are only working with our string values, so string and string here, suppose new string, and we are going to create here string value, string str equal to suppose Sagar only, and we are passing this str here, and we are printing it after passing. So original value is Sagar, and when we are passing it, we are changing it. So suppose new str will be equal to new value, and let me just tell you, you can also see this thing, that the variable color is also a little changed, and that is because when we are creating this thing new and after that this value, then obviously it will have a new string value, and it will be something like this. I'm not saying that this thing is equal, and there is a difference when we are writing this new and after that string constructor and when we are writing only this. So if you want to know the difference, then go watch out our string video, and it is a very common thing. It has a very simple difference. So here what we are doing is we are creating a new object of string, and let me just show you here. This is our str, and we are passing here Sagar. So this will be passed here, and after that when we are gonna pass here, so this will have, let me just print it once, new str inside function, and we are gonna pass this Sagar here. So Sagar will be here, and this is our passed string. Okay, and after that we are updating the value of this new str. So after this we are removing this Sagar, and we are saying here this is a new value, and now you can see this is a new value, and this is only Sagar, so this value is not going to change. And let me just show you. So inside function we will have this Sagar, and after this we are again having Sagar, because the original value is never changed. And you can see this thing, Java is always pass by value. And also let me show you when we are passing here arrays. So int array, and I also told you this thing in our arrays video. If you want the detailed explanation of creating arrays and passing arrays and how we are going to copy our array, so go watch out our arrays video. So here I am going to create an array of size 3. Array's 0 element will be 1, array's first index element will be 2, array's second index element will be 3. So after this I am passing this array here. So let me just print array 0 value. Okay, let me make it string. This is the simplest method I can remember right now. Or let me just say arrays dot to string, and here I can pass this array. Okay, so if I'm not passing this to our function, then what is going to print? So I think we are going to print 1 2 3 only with these curly braces. Okay, yeah, these square braces. We have these 3 elements in our array 1 2 3, and when we are passing this array to my function, so this is my integer array, new array, and after that I am going to change all the values of my array. So 0 value will be 100, first value will be 200, and second value will be 400. Okay, so I am changing all these 3 values, and now you can also see the color of this parameter is not changed. And I hope now you guessed this thing, that we are going to pass here same as when we were passing our objects. So let me just elaborate it here. So this is our array, and we are going to create an array. Array is a collection, so we are going to create it inside of somewhere else in my same memory. So this is our whole memory, and it will also have these names and also our actual objects. So this is our memory, and here we are going to create an array, and first value is 1, then 2, then 3, and it will have some location like 7672, so some random number, and it will have 1 2 3 4 location. Okay, this is my array, and this is the original value of my location of array. And when I am passing it to my function, so this will be a new array, and this 7672 will be passed here. And I hope now you guess this thing. When we are changing any value of this array from using this value, from using this variable name, then I am going to change the value of this original array. So this is also pointing to this, and this second variable is also pointing to this. So I am going to change it to 100, 200, and 400. So the original value is going to change. Let me just show you. So we are passing here 1 2 3, and after that we are changing values from my functions, as you can see this thing. So let me just elaborate it here. First of all, Java is always passed by values, and when we are passing anything to our function, so if it is primitive, then we are going to pass here the copy, and if it is string value, then again we are going to pass here the copy. So that means if we are changing anything inside of a function, then the original value will not going to change, so we are going to pass the copy. So after that, if we have our arrays, then we are going to pass the original array location value. So I hope now you understand this thing, how we are going to pass every time the value. So Java is always passed by value, copy of value, and a copy of value. So Java is always passed by value. I just showed you in the case of arrays or any kind of object, we are going to pass the location of the object. So original array location value, and if we have any another objects, location value of objects. Let me also write it here, location value of array. So this is the same thing, we are going to pass every time the value, whether it is our primitives, strings, arrays, or any other thing. So for all the cases we are going to pass the value. So Java is always passed by value, and I hope I just explained this thing to you very clearly, and now you know the logic. So now let's wrap up all the things, and I hope you like this video. So subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching.